Hey guys, I decided in this episode I wanted to explain why I do a lot of Euro nymphing. If you've watched my videos for a while, you've noticed that most of the videos, as of late at least, are oriented towards Euro nymphing. And so I decided for each trout I catch, I will give you one reason why I Euro nymph. So let's go. Got it. Got it. Oh. All right, guys, let's let him go. First trout, first reason. And the first reason I Euro nymph is because that's how I learned how to fly fish. I did a bobber for a little while, but my sensei was about catching the most amount of trout, and the way he did that was by Euro nymphing. So I was about catching the most amount of trout, and then I started Euro nymphing. So the rod you see me use is the first one I ever bought and the first one I ever owned. And I didn't have that rivers run through it experience where like I had a bamboo rod with a dry fly with a trout that went downstream. And so I followed in his footsteps, and I predict most people who follow in the footsteps of whoever taught them, at least initially. And so it took me probably halfway through my fly fishing career to actually catch my first trout on a dry fly. And if you've been watching these videos, I've caught trout many different ways now, but it has a special place in my heart, and I always go back to what I learned because it's comfortable for me. Anyway, onward. Got one. All right. Whew. Oop. There he is. Look at that. Off he goes. Second trout, second reason. The second reason I Euro nymph is because people make fun of it, you know? And I find it really entertaining, probably because I don't get it. I mean, huge fly fisherman has been known to really like make fun of Euro nymphing because casting's not involved. Even this guy who may follow me on TikTok still, who knows, has right in his thing, Euro nymphing sucks. Like, I don't get it. But I'm gonna keep doing it because I like being a Euro dork, and I like seeing all the interesting, funny, making fun of comments that people make about this style of fly fishing. I don't know, it's just entertainment how emotional people get about how someone catches a fish. I don't get it, but that's besides the point.
All right, guys. Didn't really expect this one. Let's see if I butt hooked them. No, I didn't butt hook them. All right. Nice wild rainbow. All right, guys. First wild rainbow of the day. Cool. All right. Look at this shrimpo. Oh. Adios.
Third trout, third reason. And the third reason is because Euro nymphing is pretty simple. Huge fly fisherman has a point that like not a ton of casting is involved. Not the like traditional casting for sure. You still have to learn how to cast with a Euro rod and still present your flies so they're not like slapping and plunking on the water. You know, there is some level of presentation in which you can present nymphs. But overall, I think someone who hasn't fly fished can pick up a Euro rod, can go on a river and catch trout that very first day. I don't think, it's as involved as some of the other arts in matching the hatch and doing all that kind of stuff. And so I like it just because it's pretty simple and it's pretty easy. And that's why it was probably the first way I learned how to fly fish. So if you're a dedicated fly fisherman in all these other arenas, what I have to say is that like, try it and you'll catch fish and it won't take you a ton of time. I think that's a pretty guarantee I can give you.
Hey guys, I got number 2 on the line. Oh, all right. Of course, there's always the one where I'm not filming. Always. All right, guys. Whew, cold water. We got wild rainbow number 2. How gorgeous is that? Just like the other guy. Let's let this guy go. Ooh. Come on. All right.
Fourth trout, fourth reason. And the fourth reason I Euro nymph doesn't have to do with Euro nymphing itself, it has to do with the gear. 10 to 11 foot, 2 to 4 weight fly rod. It is versatile. And so with this particular rod, I can throw a dry fly, I can throw a dry dropper, I can throw a bobber rig, I can tight line, double nymph rig, and I can even jig a streamer if I really wanted to. And so I don't use my gear this way, but I know that I can, and I know that I can catch any trout in any way with a single fly rod. And so at some point in time, I'm gonna have to retire my first fly rod, hopefully before I break it. So the next one I get, I'm gonna get the rod and I'm gonna get spools with all different lines. So I could just be a one rod kind of guy because I hate carrying all the extra stuff, you know? And I really want to learn how to be a fly fishing minimalist. It's just hasn't worked out so far.
Well, that was unexpected. I didn't feel him. But here is number 3. All right, let's let him go.
All right, guys, we're at 5 and 5. And so the 5th reason I Euro nymph is because it's way more accurate. If I'm throwing a bobber nymph rig and I see the bobber bobbering, sometimes the trout doesn't take the actual nymph. And even then, if it's bobbering, it means it's either hitting bottom or a trout is trying to. If I set the hook, but it's not in the trout's mouth, I end up butt hooking the thing, and that's a mess. And so when it comes to Euro nymphing, like I can feel sometimes the trout taking the nymph, and that thud, man, I love the feeling of that thud when the tip goes down. But even then, if the sighter just stops and I set the hook, chances are I get it in the mouth. So I have butt hooked way less fish Euro nymphing than I have bobber nymphing because of accuracy.
Oh man. All right, guys. Nice little stock guy here, but he counts. All right, guys. Off he goes.
We're on number 6, and I'm almost done talking. The 6th reason I Euro nymph is because it actually does catch more trout. If you think about streamer fishing, you have to wait until like the trout is in a predatory place and striking that, or is open to eating something larger. If you're dry fly fishing, you either have to use an attractor pattern, you have to force a rise, or you have to wait for a hatch. If you're bobber nymphing, like I said in the previous one, sometimes the bobber is bobbering, but the trout doesn't actually take it, and therefore you don't actually catch the trout. And so the amount of hookups I get doing these other techniques or waiting for these other techniques, and the hookup rate I get with Euro nymphing is just night and day. I just wanted to give an update real quick because last week was the very first week that I hadn't posted a video in a very long time. And so I'm making an announcement that I'm gonna change my upload schedule to every other week until April, because the weather gets way nicer, the trout are on fire, and I can produce some pretty nice content for you all. There are another couple reasons for the every other week. One of them being I'm trying to learn how to streamer fish. And so I've been spending half the time on the river throwing streamers and then half the time producing content. And it's really not working out, but I want to produce streamer fishing content and I want to be a well-rounded fly fisherman. So I need to learn. And the only way I'm going to learn is if I spend some really dedicated time doing so. So it'll be less videos because I may not be doing any catching, and that's what's happening right now as I'm streamer fishing. The second reason is because I'm a little burnt out. There have been some nice days here in Virginia, but I've just not had the energy to go out and be on the river and catch fish, and like the couch seemed way more comfy than waders, you know? So what I want to say to any of you who are experiencing any burnout, I want to tell you it's okay not to do the thing, you know? And just like chill out and relax and unwind and re-energize. So you can, and I have to say that I'm feeling better, but I still need some rest. And so what I want to say at the end of this, guys, is I had a bunch of new subscribers at the beginning of this month alone of January, and thank you to each and every one of you for subscribing. It's been totally cool. As always, guys, I'll have a video out hopefully in 2 weeks' time. So between now and then, take care of yourselves, be well, and I'll see you on the next one.